Welcome everyone to the regular council meeting of Monday, June 10th, 2024. Just to remind everyone, members of the public can be present in the council's chambers during the meeting. And also, please note that the webinar will be recorded and published to the city's YouTube site. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda, and the recommendation is that the agenda for the regular council meeting be adopted. Councilor Martin, Councilor Hanson, all those in favor? Thank you. Carried unanimously. The item number 2 is the adoption of minutes. There's 2 sets of minutes before you. The Governance and Operations Committee meeting of May 27th, 2024, and the regular council meeting of May 27th, 2024. And the recommendation is that the minutes of the Governance and Operation Committee meeting and the regular council meeting, both held on May 27th, 2024, be adopted as circulated. Councilor Martin. Councilor Benson, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Item number 3 is the public question period. Is there anyone that wants to speak or have a question for council at this time? That's me. Okay, just come up to the podium and state your name and address, please.
My name is Diana, and I live at 2070 Riverside Avenue. I'm sorry, I've never been to one of these meetings before, and I never anticipated this in my life. My name is Diana, and I came and met with both Tracy and Sandy last week. After many sleepless nights on Riverside Avenue, waking up to screaming every night coming from the encampment below from the river below our homes. I've had to call the police 7 separate occasions since the spring. We have had a man with an axe whipping it at trees, another fellow with a large knife, people pooping and peeing in the park across the street, countless needles and garbage everywhere, every day. There was a break-in in our neighborhood last week. Some of our neighbors' garden tools were found in the camp below the homes. There's now a sex trade worker with a giant dildo outside her tent, a police informed me. We came home Friday to someone giving a blowjob in Rotary Park. I really want to love my unhoused neighbors. I volunteer at the current shelter right now, and I actually really enjoy it. I do. I love these people. I do. I want to be a part of the solution. But I need to know the plans that you guys have to protect us, our neighborhood, our city. It's just unacceptable. We all pay taxes. My taxes are gonna be $2,700 this year with the homeowner, that's how much they are, that I'm gonna have to pay. And the people that are in our neighborhood right now ruining it aren't paying any of the taxes. They're just taking our peace away. It went like night and day from one week to the next. People don't even want to come visit me anymore because they don't want to park in my neighborhood. It's dangerous. The children on our street are terrified, the things that they're seeing. We are concerned when we call the police because there's a rape and screaming and there's no officer available. We are told to call the city and the city is closed. We are feeling extremely unsettled with this current location. The location cannot be in a neighborhood with homes. We are asking for you to pause all services right now for this shelter, for this current location. This won't work in a residential neighborhood. If it isn't working right now, currently, without it even opened, how do you propose it's going to get better? And I know none of us have answers, right? But that's why we have to work together. Because I know nobody would want this in their neighborhood. When I bought my house, I didn't realize, I knew it was going in, but I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. I have a child. There's people on our street with kids. So I guess that's all I have.
Thank you.
My name is Margaret Sherwood and I live at 2080 Riverside Avenue. And I'd like to commend everything that has already been said because that is now our lives. My daughter, who has special needs, now runs home from work and to work because she is scared of that area. Because she's had people follow her, she's had people threaten her, and nothing is being done. Nothing is being done for the people that work, that go to work every day, that pay taxes, that pay for everything in this city. We're second-class citizens. We've already been told by BC Housing that our safety is none of their concern.
Yeah.
And they've proved it already. They don't care what happens to us as long as that shelter goes in where it's going. And as we've already seen, it's already collecting people, it's collecting sex trade workers, it's collecting drug addicts. Now we have people that come and park in the parking lot across from us on the weekends and have sex. Open their doors, blast their music, and have sex. And it needs to stop. I love my city. I moved here for a reason. I bought my house for a reason. It was a beautiful place to live. I used to have trees. I used to have wild turkeys and geese that would come onto the lawns there. Now there's nothing, except for the bear bangers and the screaming at night. And I'd like some plan to have that stopped. Thank you.
So can I just say something here, please, because we didn't know we were all coming tonight. We don't have
know.
the resources here. We don't have BC Housing here, we don't have the RCMP here. We don't have the people here that have the answers tonight.
You don't have the answers.
They don't have the answers.
BC Housing does not have the answers. All they're doing is throwing money at.
Okay.
We call the RCMP and
Hold on, Gary.
Yeah.
they don't come.
Everybody knows me.
Please hold on. Stand up, go ahead, I just need your name and address,
I'm
please.
Jill Lowe, 2100 Riverside Avenue. Everybody knows me here. Everybody knows where we live. Everybody knows where we live. All the druggies know. We had to yell at one the other day to stop smoking his crack pipe in front of our house. It never ends. I just wish, you said BC Housing's not here, I understand that. But it's a city, why don't some of you get a backbone and stand up for your city? If you're working for the people that have you. I wasn't gonna come to this meeting, but I thought I gotta stand up for the people of Trail in my neighborhood. This is me every day.
It's very anxiety, it makes me
It's
so anxious to
ridiculous.
even go outside of my house. It shouldn't be that way.
Every day. We had a woman hiding in our closet of our bedroom. We called the cops, they did nothing.
Yeah.
Another slap on the wrist. The cops say that the law, they can't do anything. I just wish somebody would start standing up and give these people some help in this alley. They need help, not a drug den, because that's what it's gonna be. They need an actual place. I feel for them, I feel for these people. I have family members. They're in the exact same boat.
We told us. Tell me about it. What's it gonna be like when it opens? You take everything that goes on in that alley down here and you're gonna stick it in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it can't be in our neighborhood.
I'm sorry.
It can't be in our neighborhood, you guys. We're spending.
We got 6 people to vote on this. 6 people at the time, I think it was 6, 7 people, got to vote on something this big for our city. The amount of money that shelter's getting every year, that's another question in its own.
I asked for a referendum last November.
Yeah, I'm Gary Stewart. I just moved in September to 2347 Columbia Avenue. So I'm right on the river. I had a fella here working, helping me in my yard, and he said, he says, what's ironic is, I bought property down in Juanita, on my lot, and I was not allowed to put my trailer on it because I had to go through all these hoops from the city to move my trailer, and yet I've got all these people going down Casino Road and parking their tents on the river. It's a $1 million property there, and we are being dictated by 60 or 70 people in this town. And the problem that I have is last year around this time, I had a suggestion that went something like this. Why don't you take the ambulances, all these nice clean ambulances out of the hospital and move all of these ambulances down to the
Fire station.
the fire hall where they should belong, and there's enough, that space would accommodate all of these people, and they'd be at the hospital. Everybody says that these people have mental illness, and I'm saying, yeah, but they also have a drug problem, and we have safe injection sites. What in the heck is going on around here? We are giving these people, we're not helping them. We're destroying these people. There's 7 ambulances going downtown every single week almost. Fire trucks and ambulances. Something's got to change. And I thought my suggestion of this would open the door, but nobody's even investigated it. I'm just at my wit's end on this town. This is a great community, and this place is being destroyed because we don't have a city with a backbone.
Exactly.
We don't have a city with a backbone. And I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm so disappointed. I don't know how much money is involved. This gentleman over here was not elected by anybody, he was appointed. And I know why he was appointed. Sorry, I'm venting, but you know what? Somebody needs to vent. Because somebody in this town needs to stand up and come down here and say, enough is enough.
Amen.
These people, get these people. Housing, instead of taking pictures up here and coming up with a site that they know nothing about, the community is here. Ask these people where they want this community, where they want this thing put in. It's ridiculous. We've had for 3 years now, and all we've had is we're gonna move it on. Another situation. It's typical government.
Yeah.
Throw money at it and let the chips fall where they may. And now we've got 2 ladies here who are in tears, and we're all sitting here, you know what, it's like the government said, well, boo-hoo, get over it. No, we're not gonna get over it. I will not be calm. I'm sorry. The time for being calm is at hand, is done. You guys need to do something, and you need to do something for the people here, not for the ones who are, get them up at the hospital.
Lindsay Lowe, 2100 Riverside. I'm gonna answer your question right there, Gary. These people all here voted it in. We had that night, we had what? 95% of the people against the location. You people all voted it in because it's not in your front yard. I don't care what you guys have to say. You're the one who can get that thing moved. Don't let BC Housing come in here and strong arm you. Get a backbone.
Yeah.
Okay?
It needs to be.
Because what's gonna happen, who's gonna take the responsibility when one of those homeless people die? Which one of you who voted it in is gonna put your hand up and say, I take responsibility for that person's death. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gail Bowman. I live at 108 Colley Street. I do street ministry here. I belong to a church. I've been here for 11 years doing this. I see both sides of the problem, and it is unacceptable, the decisions that have been made here, and I have questions. I want to know, have you looked into the idea of a detox and recovery center in here? Family, I was addicted myself. I've been blessed not to be homeless, so I'm speaking from experience. That this is not the answer. This is only going to compound the problem.
It's a Band-Aid.
Homelessness is the end result of many years of other things going on. These other things need to be addressed in order to have a safe environment for the dwellers of this city. It cannot be a precedent that we look after the homeless people at the expense of our citizens.
The big tax.
That is not. It needs to be addressed from a medical standpoint, and it has to be removed from our city.
Now.
These people have to be lifted up and put somewhere and help. They need help. They need to get off their drugs. They need to have life skills. They need to know how to take care of themselves in their homes long before they even look for a job. There's so many things in place that will help them in other communities. Because this is a small community, it's a larger problem here. But this is Canada-wide. This is not one little drop in the bucket. This is all of Canada going through this. And we are telling you what we see, what we know what's going on, and we have options in how to correct these issues. But you guys have to hear us and actually do what we're suggesting. Because we care. We care about these people here. We care about the people out on the streets.
We do really
We
care.
love these people, but there is a systematic problem. The system has to be changed in order to correct everything else. Thank you for hearing me.
I do street ministry as well, and like I said, I do help out at the homeless shelter. I do love these people. Jesus taught us to love our neighbors. I love these people, I really, truly do love them. But this is not working. It is just not working in a neighborhood with families and children. It's just not going to work. We have to cease everything that's going on right now. We have to stop it. Those buildings are movable. We need to stop it for this community, for all of these people. And there's so many people that didn't get to show up tonight, that couldn't come. We have to, I will help do whatever you can to figure out where else we can do this. There are places out in, there's people that own land that have offered their land. We can put these houses, we can have a bus system, we can help them, we can get them rehabilitation. That's what we need to do, you guys. We need to help them. This is not helping them, letting them use drugs all the time. We're enabling their drug problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have so much potential. When I see these humans and I'm talking with them and I cut their hair and they're these beautiful people and I look at them and I see like this is someone's child and nobody's helping them. They're sick. And it breaks my heart, you guys. It breaks my heart. You guys, I know it breaks your guys' hearts too. I know you guys are human.
Don't give me a pass.
My name is Michelle and I wasn't planning on speaking today because I don't live on Riverside. but I do live in West Trail. For the past 2 years, I'm not gonna deflect, I'm gonna come back. I just wanna say I live in West Trail and what's happening, what these people are experiencing, I've been going through my own house for 2 years. And to see now friends and family and the mental health suffering that I've dealt with, the amount of dollars in counseling and being told by RCMP to mind my business. And now I see it continuing even further outstretching. And I don't understand when our rights and my rights became invisible. Like selling drugs, when did that become legal? I don't remember that becoming legal when we were allowed to carry 3 whatever grams of drugs. I don't understand what's happening, and I don't understand why when you call the police or other services for help, you got told to mind your business. Why is this bothering you? Can't you look the other way? No. You know what it's like to not sleep for 2 years? You feel terrified in your house, especially as a single woman. It's not cool. I'll be honest and say I haven't been able to hold down a full-time job because of where I live, even though it's not Riverside. But it's the same thing. A homeless people and drug dealers living under the stairs in my house. It's insane. And what Diane was saying, I love these people, they're all people, I couldn't imagine my son in this position. But what is happening is not working. Why is it okay for our rights to be diminished? And somehow they have more rights than we do. I just don't understand. I just don't get it, the logical.
Gord Fisher Trail. Had no intention of speaking tonight, I had no idea this crowd was gonna be here. I came to support a neighbor, who I don't even know.
Thank you, Gord.
Just wanna remind everybody here, 1972, we had a government change in British Columbia. We went from about 40 years of social credit government to NDP. At that time, in Trail, the Andy Bilisky Park had been sold, and we were all about to put in a brand new courthouse. Judges, lawyers, prosecutors, support staff, at least 50 golden jobs. NDP came in, and the renowned ex-mayor of the time, strong NDP guy said, we're not leaving this legacy to Donald Brothers. Stop. They had $300,000 in the ground for that courthouse. It stopped, they built the housing we've got there, we can use it, great, I'll get into more of that later. So $300,000 in 1972 is probably close to $1 million right now. They've got over $1 million into that right now.
Yeah.
It can stop. I'm not saying it's gotta be political like it was in 1972, but you know, we lost all those jobs, man. I was on council when they moved the Crown Council to Nelson. The last six guys, tough, really tough. That's when the downhill really started, about 1981. Like this. So we get to $1 million in the ground there. We've been taking pictures of these, I can't believe it. I'm thinking Cliff Thompson, Hank Deadmarsh, don't shoot me for using your name. These guys are developers in town. If they had the money that BC Housing's putting into that to get their developments going, we wouldn't have a housing shortage.
Right.
Right, but we're not. We can start collaborating in that direction. Something positive can come out of this. I had no idea it was. I thought, obviously, you guys know where I'm affected. It's not looking good, but this is. I had no idea. So thanks for your time. And any more questions about 1972? I'm in the law.
I just have one last statement that I wanted to say. I know that you asked for people to calm down and not raise their voice over this, but imagine that being in your home every day, you gotta listen to me yelling. Sticky,
I hear rape being yelled out loud.
screaming,
Well,
fighting,
sleeping.
swearing.
3 a.m.
Smells of plastic because they're smoking so much crack. You don't like the yelling in this room? Try living in it on a daily basis. I can guarantee if we put them outside the RCMP's house, he would not stand for it for 10 minutes.
Right on.
Or your house.
Well, Gail, is she still here?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are, sorry. I just wanted to answer your question about the detox place.
Okay.
And thank you for bringing that up because we have been working with the MLA's office to, I know that there's a detox, place out in Castlegar. And we have been working with them to try and expand the beds so that there's more beds there. It's
Place is
difficult,
empty.
because there's only 9 beds in Castlegar. And we know that we need more beds in this region, so I wanted to let you know that yes, we are working with the MLA office about increasing the number of beds and to be able to get more support for the people living with mental illness, as you spoke of. Yeah, it's slow moving, I know it's disappointing. I know when you guys are here speaking to us, we're hearing you, we hear this every day. It's so difficult to move forward. I don't want you to think that we're not looking into this. As I said, we get phone calls every day, we get emails, we get people coming into the office. It's one of the top items on our daily agenda. So I appreciate you here being, voicing your opinions again. And we'll take this information and we will share it with BC Housing again, and we'll do what we can do. But I don't want you to think that we're not working behind the scenes here. Because just because we're not out on the streets, pounding the streets, that's not, our work is sort of behind trying to talk to the MLA, trying to speak to anybody that will listen to us at this time. Unfortunately, as I said, it is slow moving. We're trying to get some tools together with, bylaw officers, more security. We are honestly working on that. We just had the conversation today at a council meeting. So it's not that we don't see or hear you. We know what's going on out there, and we're trying really hard, you guys. Because we don't want to see this in our community either. I don't want to see people scared on the streets, or kids scared to go to the show, or, go to the library.
I have a question. So when the homeless shelter, still is currently down, my name's
So,
Tammy
yeah.
Fedora.
Sorry?
Tammy Fedora. So when, the homeless shelter has been downtown and still is, because it's not really opening there, and you can already see it's not even opened yet. And this is a big, huge problem. I don't live down there, I live over in East Trail, but I'm born and raised here, it's my hometown. So when it came up that, we need another spot, how was all that decided that it would go there? Like out of all of the, there's so much land around here, there's, down in Casino, there's open land up in Fruitvale, we have lots of land, it's open land. So I'm wondering what kind of things were looked at that would take a already really not working situation in downtown Trail and move it a few blocks down. Sure, you're not by businesses now, but now you're by people
Was
that are
stepping
trying to live their
stone.
life. So I'm just curious how that happens, how does that type of a situation get made? What's the process that happens with that?
Mr. McQueen, I'm gonna pass this on to you, because you were the one that looked after.
Well, certainly a number of years ago, coming up on almost 2, the current shelter location had a temporary use permit that council voted. And so the community and the businesses were saying, we don't want anything like that. So we looked at some other options, and this option ended up being one that was selected by council. Part of it is trying to deal with the the concerns about having it in your neighborhood. And so there's no perfect place for it. Certainly there are other constraints by BC Housing, so when you say, let's put it in Fruitvale, or let's put it in Casino, we're not putting it there. So
You know what's right?
they're not putting it there, they're not going to put it
Right.
there, so it has to be.
And why wouldn't they do that?
Excuse
I worked
me,
in the mental health
can
field
we
my
just
whole
let
life, I worked with
council or-
people, so why
Excuse me,
wouldn't,
Tammy,
yeah,
can we just let Mr. McClure answer the question and then?
yeah,
So certainly they have criteria. Number one is that individuals that are in the area need to be closer to services they use.
We have bus.
Oh.
Why?
Seniors
they have story services they need to get to?
Services that they use, right, so they're not individuals that are driving, they're
Right.
not individuals that, when you put them out in an area, unless there's no, functioning sort of system other than
Right.
car back.
Yeah.
So that's.
Bus that
and-
goes to the
and
airport.
We, as part of the city, if, BC Housing is saying, we need a shelter, we need a place, or certainly, I'm hearing, and, we know that many of the people that will go into the shelter, the new shelter that we have, will have their own room, their own space, and
Right,
so that's, I believe, and I believe council believes that from BC Housing, that someone trying to get back on their feet. If they have that, this is my room, I have it for whatever prior period of time, I can get myself healthy, get myself in a place where I can move on to
yes,
another
that's the
location.
stability to kind of make some changes, yeah.
And we certainly recognize, council recognizes, BC Housing recognizes.
Yeah.
Is that some of these individuals, and I'm sure based on what we've heard today and heard at other times, are not going to be able to attend that shelter, won't be allowed in the shelter. So certainly that is one of the concerns that council has, with what will be the effect, in one side of it. And I've heard from most of you that you care about these individuals, and so part of it is trying to allow for something safe and the ability for people to get on their feet. What are we going to do about the other individuals that either A, now don't go into
Right,
the shelter, and or are in a behavior or a manner that such that can't be in the shelter?
yeah,
That's certainly going to be the next step of concern. We know that our RCMP complement is not where it should be as far as what the allocation is. And I know that they also are extremely frustrated
I'm sure, yeah,
what they're dealing with, some of the things that they would like to be able to do, they're not allowed.
Yeah.
And even when they bring things forward, they are quite aware that the next level of, when you're gonna go to charges and that sort of thing, how it's gonna work in the system, that's not something that's been successful for them as well.
right,
Someone has to be really
all the
over.
systems are failing,
Well, there's
Yeah.
absolutely, there's no question.
Yeah.
And again, when you talk about, the fact of those people that do put up their hand and say, I have an addiction issue and I wanna go, they go, the time frame that they have isn't that long.
right,
And then there's no secondary source for them to go to continue on, so they are released or let go of the facility, and it doesn't take very long if you don't have a home and have that
Yes,
stuff, you just
yes.
kind of fall back.
Yeah, the revolving door.
It is. And so certainly on our side for council is to advocate many of these things, and I know that you're able to come here today and talk to us, and this is fantastic to have these types of conversations.
yeah,
But we don't have a lot of tools that is provincial or federal, both of those being mostly on our mental health, IH, addictions, counseling, all of those sorts of things, those are not things that the city has. Certainly on the Fed side, they just recriminalized drugs, so it'd be interesting to see kind of what happens from there. And, it's scary to hear some of the things that we're hearing tonight, and also frustrating when you know that the police come and that they don't have a lot of tools themselves to be able to deal with the situation in a manner that you would think.
so I just wonder, like, I hear everything
They
you're
don't
saying,
have-
and it's nobody's, well, it's all of our faults for this, it's like people live and whatever, but we're all struggling with it, there's no system that's really, all the systems are failing, nobody has enough, nobody can do this, nobody has the services, nobody has this. So, with that being said, when there's an actual situation that's happening, like these people are dealing, like right across from them, right in their homes, with this type of violent, deranged behavior, these people are no longer in control of themselves,
No.
they're totally overtaken by drugs. So you're not dealing with somebody you can reason with, it's very scary. So, I hear you say the police don't have the, sorry, Nick, you're not a police anymore, you always were. So when they don't have the resources and, there's not the city that doesn't have the resources and and these people are just left floundering there, who's gonna help them? So what kind of things could you tell us today, like without BC Housing being here, without anything, just what kind of reassurance or hope could you give people that are living that life outside, right outside their house? What can you say?
And again, even something that's on our agenda tonight, it's just a letter that we got from, we have Donald, who's the head RCMP officer that we met with, when we were down to our meeting provincially. Talking about, they're working on some individuals that have come who are retiring, they've got new recruits coming. So, we hear it, but even in my time here, we've been hearing it,
Yeah.
we're at half of our complement. So that doesn't bode well, it's one of the reasons I think that either they're not coming because they're on another call, because we're really short staffed, so that does not make it easy for RCMP. So again, we go to the vets and we say, we need to help our sergeant here, who's trying to do the best of what he has, and we need more officers. So
Yeah.
they allow for certain things in trail where instead of having to ask for your commanding officer to go and check out the drug, you can go directly or one of the places, but again, it takes time. And
What about, like I know Nelson's got a huge homeless culture.
yes.
And they have city police as well as RCMP, and that really helps with all of that kind of stuff. Would that be something that Cheryl could get?
No, you have to be careful, the RCMP there are also very, very stretched, and if you actually understood the amount of area that they need to cover.
Yeah.
They do have their own, Nelson Police Department, but again, if you're following the news, Nelson Police Department isn't exactly the best behaving group of
No, I
individuals for quite a while. So,
Yeah.
and again, they've got a serious issue there right now, and they cannot do anything about the encampment that's right up front of the city.
So, what about, you guys are getting a lot of money, the city's getting a lot of money for having this homeless shelter there, so.
Just to be clear, we do not get any money.
Well, whatever the amount of money that's being put into that, so how, there's a big budget for that, beyond this, so where is that money all being allotted? Is there not like a part of that budget for security, like 24/7? Why would anybody, you guys spent thousands of dollars or whatever on this walking bridge, just beautified that
No,
whole
it was
area.
15 million.
And now it's like, oh wow, like I will go across that, I'm not particularly afraid of too much, but a lot of people won't. So it's like, there has to be some money, there has to be something there that can, until a better solution comes up, that you can at least provide, or somehow BC Housing, whoever it is, can provide 24-hour security, not one person, maybe 3 people. And these other people that aren't fit to be in that shelter, that needs to be like obviously dealt with quickly. They can't just be running around loose down there.
Yeah.
And again, just be careful, number one, yes, there will be a fence compound, right, so when the individuals are part of the shelter, they're in the shelter.
Yes.
If you're not part of the shelter, you won't be inside the facility. Yes, genuinely a concern that those people that are acting out or not be able to be maintained in the shelter.
Yes,
That is the issue, but one thing that.
so do you guys have any ideas for that?
Again, this
No.
is an
We need to
RCMP
know
matter,
this.
right, it's an RCMP matter, and again, it's disheartening to hear that people are, you can say those sorts of things, but if there's no room, room in the cycle. If people don't go, you have to understand too, even if someone refuses treatment, that's one of the things that someone can do as a right as a game.
No,
You don't have the ability just to take people to that place.
Well, they're doing that in Alberta.
Yeah.
We're not Alberta, but again, we're living within the provincial mandates. Hopefully that answers some of your questions.
So what about like the people that live down there that have a right to like quiet enjoyment and everything, like?
I've lost
like,
all my
right,
quiet.
so there's on that side, there's these.
I can't sit on my deck
These
anymore.
are absolutely disheartening, but you're, all I know if the sergeant was here,
So
because you need to phone 911.
it sounds like you guys don't have a lot of power to really do a lot of things. Is there some
There's no
people that we
officers
could
on
get a
duty.
hold of from the BC Housing or higher up people that we could kind of address with these concerns and get some real answers, maybe people that have more power to do something or the money.
Certainly, again, if you wanted to write to the premier, if you wanted to,
It's your. I know it's a hard situation for everybody, and I certainly don't blame any of these people for anything. It's all about property, okay, and this is the life that we've lived in, this is where we're at now, we've got people living like this on the street. And so this is why, we're all together in it, but there's gotta be something, there's gotta at least be some security for these people, I mean, if I was living down there alone, I would be petrified.
Well, and again, I'll be curious as as the recriminalization comes on, what tools come, as some of the RCMP officers are supposed to be, filtered in.
Okay, so when's that gonna happen, like,
Again, it takes time.
so you said time, like, give us the ballpark.
It did take time to
That's
build
an
the shelter.
elusive time, like a month, 2
You
months?
just don't care.
Yeah.
3 months?
don't care.
Like, just a ballpark.
I'm not on the RCMP, it's not something, they tell us they're coming, we get the pressure.
Yeah, but we pay them.
It's all politics.
Well, you guys are sure getting a backlash for sure.
You don't care.
And that's part of it, right, we're local, we're easy to reach, we're easy to come and talk to.
Okay, but like Diana was saying, like when she phoned the police.
care, it's not
like
their
they weren't
neighborhood.
around from the city, then there's nobody at the city. So maybe that's something, there could be like some on call for the
He said
city,
there's
you guys are
nobody.
like, no.
He said we have no.
Okay, well, thanks, yeah.
Maybe if people would tell, start their own patrol.
Margaret Sherwood, 2080 Riverside. And first I'd like to say, the idea that we can't put a shelter out somewhere in like a farm area is ridiculous. There's a thing called a bus. We do it to our seniors, we do it to our veterans. We put them out in the middle of nowhere, we bust them into town when they have to go shopping, when they need to go to the doctor.
To their services.
They fought for this country and we treat them like that.
Yes.
People that give nothing to our country have more rights than I do. I can't enjoy my yard anymore.
Yeah.
I don't wanna stand outside or sit outside with my daughter and hear you fucking you. I don't wanna hear that.
People fighting,
People
screaming.
fighting and screaming, throwing axes and knives.
Walking around.
That's not the neighborhood
Yeah, we
I
had
want.
a naked prostitute yesterday,
Yeah.
a naked freaking prostitute in our neighborhood.
And we get no help. We called RCMP, we're told there's no one available. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
see.
Maybe we should bust them down.
That's something.
There's
Council.
something more we can do, and I'm
Scream all
sorry.
right there.
It's gonna be a very
I am
dangerous
not
Well, it's
situation
bad,
down
of
there.
course.
By your saying you hear us, when one, you're the council that voted it onto our street,
Something has to be done today.
and
We
two,
need it.
we hear no action.
To the hospital.
Call it
We
today.
need concrete things to
Yeah,
happen.
something.
We don't need, well, we're looking into it and it takes a long time. What do we need to happen? Do one of those people have to get run over by a car? Do one of us have to be assaulted? No, I'm a single mom with a girl that has special needs. And she's terrified now in her own home because of everything that's going out on the street. I didn't buy into this town for that. I pay my taxes, I work every day, she works as much as she can, she's terrified to go to work. She has to run home, we witnessed on her running home because she's scared. We need a concrete solution to this, today, not to look into it. Because is that 2 months, 2 years, 10 years?
Yeah.
How long do you have to wait? Does someone have to get hurt?
Yeah.
I don't understand why, if you voted it in, you can't do something about it. You knew it was gonna be a problem for the people on the street. Oh, we were guaranteed that, oh, it's not gonna be like that. They're all nice people. They're not.
No, they're unstable.
They're
They need help.
unstable, they're on drugs, we need detox, treatment,
From trail.
supervised housing. Then they get on to a job and intact their own home. We're putting the cart before the horse and enabling them to do drugs and to smoke crack or whatever they wanna smoke in there when it's gonna be vented into my yard,
In our
into
neighborhood.
her yard, is not the answer.
I know that you guys would
Thank
not
you.
want this in your neighborhood. I know that.
At your door. Not even a neighborhood.
My name is Bill Lovely. My wife and I moved here 2 decades ago, and we've just watched this town deteriorate. All I'm hearing tonight is typical government speak, passing the buck. I can't do anything. It's not my problem. I don't have the right tools. It's the province's problem. It's the federal government's problem. Why are we looking for a solution or an answer to a problem that's local from somebody who hasn't got a clue what's going on here? Why aren't you guys taking responsibility? And if you can't, maybe we need to have some performance reviews and some heads needs to roll. I don't understand this even a little bit. Your answer of, well, we just don't have the tools, we're waiting for permission from the province, we're waiting for permission from somebody else.
Yeah.
You guys have the power for this town right here. You make the decisions. You represent us, not the homeless, not the mentally ill. Why are we looking for a problem a solution to the problem that's here somewhere else?
Exactly.
Why don't you solve it right here?
Put them in the hospital.
That's not a rhetoric question. None of you are speaking. Why aren't we solving this problem here? Why are we waiting for permission from David Eby or Justin Trudeau or BC Housing or the RCMP? There's a problem. You guys can solve it. A lot of head nodding.
Again,
Nothing gets done.
You will be welcome to put your name on the ballot and run for council.
No.
Because
That's not what I'm asking. You put your name on the ballot. You stood up for the position.
You're council.
You took the responsibility, responsibility for what are the responsibilities of municipalities. Healthcare, policing, provincial, federal. We advocate as best as we can, we are not.
Our health.
Yeah, whatever.
Mental health.
It's called.
You're in charge of your lands.
Yeah.
That's all.
Listen to the people.
Okay, so I think that we've heard lots of information.
I just say one more thing, Marianne, Fisher from Trail. Everybody here is obviously concerned about those that do not have homes, those that have mental illness, and those that are drug addicts. We've got that, okay? There have been suggestions as to what to do to help people and help our community. I could not live like you live, and I applaud you, and I think that we really need to do something. None of us could live like that every day.
No.
And I agree, we have the power as a city to make our voices known to David Eby. David Eby has told us it's not working. He said that just the other day. And Alberta, we're not Alberta, no, we're not, but they are trying a whole different program. The Globe and Mail had a great article 2 weeks ago, phenomenal. And they're trying something different. They're getting those people mental health care, they're getting them drug addiction care and a home, all in one package.
Yeah.
And we continue to do the same thing, the same way, and that's the definition of insanity.
That's right.
And expect a different result.
Yeah.
We're not getting different results. Anyways, what we can do, this week, what we can do is have a bylaw officer on the weekend.
That's right.
Nobody can get anybody to help, because the police are understaffed, they're trying, yes. The city hall is closed. Who can we call?
Ghostbusters.
Today, I went past the gazebo, the Rotary Park gazebo, where volunteers made a beautiful, beautiful park. It's my understanding, you cannot do drugs in a park any longer. That legislation.
Not a Rotary.
Yeah, but you can in the shelter.
Yeah, whatever, but you can't do it in a park any longer. That legislation, I believe, has gone through. If not, it's close to going through any day. I came to City Hall, 3:30, it was closed. Nobody here could help me. And there were tents there on city property. It was a big free-for-all there, and it was right after school. This is not acceptable, and I agree with the gentleman that said, we as a city have to be leaders and
and stand up in our province and say, you know what, this is wrong. These people can't make capable decisions for themselves. They're not able,
We have to
unfortunately.
help them.
We have to help them. They need psychological counseling. In a big center, they can get that. They need drug addiction. 9 beds, Colleen, out in Castlegar is the tip of the iceberg. Open up Riverview, I've said it time and time again. It's empty, 3/4 empty. Why won't the province open it?
The city should open it.
Well, anyways, I know you guys are trying your best, but we need to all get together and try harder.
We have to start
We need
now.
to make a statement in this province,
Today's.
because that
I agree.
shelter should not open.
Yeah, it shouldn't open.
Just a minute, please, before you get up to the podium. Is there anybody that hasn't spoken tonight that wants to speak? Diana's been up there 3 times now.
Hi,
And, okay, so, hi, how are you? You're going to, we'll let you speak and then Diana, and then we're gonna have to shut it down, okay? Okay, go ahead.
I just have some things to say. I told you so.
And last name, please, and
Oh,
address.
sorry, my name is Mark Steves. I run a business at 2853 Highway Drive. And I told you so in November. I told you that this isn't gonna work. Now, we're sitting on a heritage park. Okay, we've turned it into a shithole, right? And it's the park that you commend in your own lobby downstairs with pictures, beautiful pictures of the bridge and the skyline and about the Japanese twinning.
Yeah.
And this is what you turned it into, right? The park is a disgrace, right? And we need to stand up for our heritage, right, of the city. Now, I made, regarding your comments, I was at Axe's house 3 weeks ago. My wife was there for a week and a half. The place is empty. There's
Yeah, I
nobody
have no
there.
control of the bed
Right,
situation.
yes, I understand
know who comes and goes.
Okay, that the place is empty, and the biggest complaint that the workers at the house have is that there's nowhere to put them when they come out. Now, I came forward and another gentleman came forward with 2 propositions about setting up, mine was Chelsea's Place and his was Champion House. They were basically the same thing. And there is no reason we can't do that in this town. Doesn't mean we have to set up a big, huge treatment center, just a freaking safe place for people to go. Where there's no drug use, there's no, and the life is about recovery.
That's not what they want.
And instead, you build this catastrophe on the foot of one of our heritage parks. And you allow them to use drugs on site. And this is caring? This is murder, plain and simple.
Okay, Diana, you're the last one.
Yeah. There are class action lawsuits right now against other cities in Canada because of homeless shelters near neighborhoods, because they just destroy the neighborhoods, they destroy your property value. I called BC Assessment last week and they said, sorry, there's nothing we can do. So my property value just dropped 30% since I bought my house because of this. I can't sell my house. I was looking at other houses, I can't sell it, no one's gonna wanna buy it with this shopping carts and people and shooting up and prostitution. So we're asking that this just be stopped for now. We are all asking for it to be stopped right now. We will work on a different solution. This can't be in a neighborhood. Begging you to have compassion for us, please, please,
Thank you.
please.
Yes. Thank you.
Fire some,
Mhm.
burn it down.
Thank you guys for coming tonight. We're just gonna take some little break before we go on the agenda, okay? Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 4, the bylaws. And we have, sorry, 4.1 is the zoning bylaw amendment bylaw, number 2943, 2024, and the first, second, and third reading. So the recommendation is that the zoning amendment bylaw number 2943, 2024 be read a first, second, and third time. Councillor Martin, is there a seconder, please? Councillor Hanson? All those in favor? Thank you. And item 4.2 is the zoning bylaw amendment bylaw number 2944, 2024. And the recommendation is that the zoning amendment bylaw number 2944, 2024 be read a first, second, and third time. Councillor Benson and Councillor Hanson, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. Council committee reports.
Thanks,
First one up is Councillor Benson. Thanks, you guys.
So for my portfolio for the Trail Ambassador Program, they attended the Beaver Valley May Days Parade and they attended their first pageant where they brought community greetings in Castlegar. I was there judging this Castlegar pageant, so I was able to listen to their greeting on behalf of the city of Trail. So I think we should invite them in to say it just because it's pretty fantastic. For Silver City Days, 344 days, and we have a lessons learned workshop tomorrow. So we've received a lot of feedback from the community on things that they enjoyed and things that they would like to see next year. So we'll put those into our workshop tomorrow, and looking forward to making a plan for it being even better than next year. On Thursday, May 30th, I attended the Community Connection Fair put on by a school district at Jail Crow. There's 18 local nonprofit and educational groups that really focus on school age kids from kindergarten to grade 12, and it was a really interesting. There's groups I've never even heard of before. I have the pamphlet if anyone wants to look at it. I attended the RCMP Municipal Police Unit Agreements, Authority and Responsibilities webinar put on by UDCM, which provided an overview of the RCMP policing contract to understand cost sharing for municipalities like ours. Also learned a lot about how the city has the authority of setting objectives, priorities, and goals, and what that looks like in the grand scheme of the RCMP budget. Last week, I attended the Cascade Project Tour with Mayor Jones at TriMet. So this is a pilot project that Tech Resources is putting on. Drilling has concluded there with no incidents, and you can see, and we were able to see from the drill core samples that natural calcification is occurring at depth, which is a good sign. The next steps will be a full study on the core samples obtained and further seismographic studies. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Benson. Councillor Cashel.
I have no report, Mayor Jones.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cashel. Councillor Hanson.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. On the 29th, myself and Councillor Cutler attended the Pacific Coastal Golf Tournament, and where we had an opportunity to have a meeting with the VP of Customer and Commercial for Pacific Coastal, Jonathan Richardson, and there we talked about opportunities for growth for the Trail Regional Airport. And they are planning on actually coming up in the following meeting with stakeholders, tourism, and other municipalities on ways to grow in the area. Also made connections with some other airport authorities, including YVR, and discussed some transportation concerns when arriving in Trail that we're looking at mitigating, as well as had a couple other conversations with other airports who've just recently done master plans and some things that should be considered when doing them. So got some really great connections there and great support from other airport authorities that are already established. And then on June 1st, I attended the Business Excellence Awards put on by the Trail and District Chamber of Commerce. It was an incredible evening with several businesses attending, and congratulations to all of the award winners, and all of those that were nominated. It is an honor just to be nominated and recognized in your community for the efforts that you put into your businesses. So congratulations to all of the award winners. On June 7th, I attended the Local Leaders United workshop that focused on the decriminalization of Bill 34 and recriminalization. The injunction that was sought by the nurses union is until the end of August. However, on May 7th, Health Canada approved BC's request to prohibit possession of controlled substances in public spaces. Exemptions will continue to apply in private residences, healthcare clinics, as designated by the province of BC, and places where people are lawfully sheltering, and overdose prevention and drug checking sites. Further to that, Mayor Jones, I would also like to request and asking for your support of a motion that the Community Safety Task Force Committee consider the merits of adding a part-time bylaw enforcement officer for evening and weekend patrols, as well as working with the city to investigate how many cameras we have and how many should be added, and getting recommendations on where those should be. So at this time, I'd ask for a motion of support from council.
You need a second? I'll second that.
Well, are we receiving that for information for the Community Safety Task Force?
It was
Or
a
is that a
motion
motion?
at the direction of Ms. Butler. She had recommended putting it forward as a motion,
Okay,
and then having it as an objective for the Community Safety Task Force to then review, and then bring back to council with a recommendation.
okay. Thank you, Councillor Hanson. So we have a seconder. Councillor Cashel has seconded. Any questions, comments before we move to the motion? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. Okay,
Just a comment. Congratulations, Councillor Hanson, on winning the Business Person of the Year.
Oh, thanks.
That's an amazing accomplishment and well deserved.
Thank you. And I might have to correct it. Business Person of the Year was actually Rich Murphy, Business of the Year.
Oh, I did have it in my earlier notes, but,
Thank you,
okay, sorry.
thank you,
Business of the Year.
thank you.
okay, Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. On behalf of council, I attended the following meetings. On Tuesday, May 28th, I attended a West Kootenay Transit Committee meeting via Zoom. This meeting was for participants of the committee from both the RDKB and RDCK. It was a high-level overview of the entire service. The chair of the committee will be meeting similar-sized transit services from this area throughout the southern portion of the province to discuss increased funding from the province for their transit services. Wednesday, May 29th, I attended a RDKB policy and personnel meeting in Grand Forks, reviewed various RDKB policies and received a staff report from the RDKB Manager of Human Resources regarding a safety position in the organization. Wednesday, May 29th, an RDKB board meeting in Grand Forks, a presentation from the Osoyoos Indian Band, Mercer Celgar, and the Forest Enhancement Society of BC regarding fiber recovery within our region. This is to eliminate slash piles throughout the area, taking the usable wood to Mercer Celgar for their process. The board will also be sending a letter to the provincial and federal governments, to those who are responsible for the monitoring, prevention, and response to invasive mussels in BC. That all efforts be made and properly funded to prevent the entry of these mussels into our local waters. The RDKB will also be forwarding a letter to the BC Environmental Assessment Office regarding concerns with the proposed Record Ridge Industrial Mineral Mine by West High Yield Resources, as it's in Area B of the RDKB. I shared an email with everyone regarding the South Kootenay Greenlink Engagement Workshop, which was held on Tuesday, June 4th in the Victoria Room. I was unable to attend, I was out of town. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review the information. Feel free to contact me anytime should you have any questions regarding these meetings. That's it for my report.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Okay, I do have a few items that I would like to report on tonight. First of all, I just wanted to mention that I did attend a Trail Community Action Team meeting. Myself and Councillor Butler were on the meeting. And the goal is to bring back Guy Felicello, to bring him back into the schools to educate the kids more. And they are organizing this through 2 grade 10 JL Crow students who were at the presentation of Guy's and wanted to make sure that he would come back and present to the schools so that all the kids would have the education and understand the damage that, you know, doing drugs is doing to their communities. Diana and Tammy, the co-chairs of the Trail Community Action Team, also reported that they received a call from the Canadian Action Initiative and Interior Health, and they've been invited to apply for a $110,000 grant for over the next 2.5 years. And for the rest of this year, they are eligible for $10,000. And they can apply for the $50,000 for each of the next 2 years, for the 2025 and 2026. So that's amazing news, and we're really excited to see what kind of funding they get, and they just wanted to thank everybody for advocating for them. I also did join a virtual information session on the UBCM meeting requests. And there was 2 meetings and I was able to attend one of them. And it's just about the process of getting into the meetings down at UBCM and, you know, who we are able to speak to. And so as a council and with staff support, I think we need to start prioritizing what our minister, who we want to speak to and who we should be meeting with and what issues we are bringing forward. And we should have those discussions fairly quickly. September's coming very quickly. Just also wanted to mention that the Ending Working Poverty group is holding its final community discussion roundtable to brainstorm about ways that we can change our local systems to better support residents that are living or working in Trail that continue to struggle financially. So the date of that will be, sorry, I thought next Thursday. I think everybody got an email on this.
Yes, next Thursday.
So yeah, they're just seeking further input so that they know what the focus are going to be with actionable items. And they want everybody's input. So if you can attend, it was a really good evening last time, lots of fun. June 10th, along with Councillor Benson, June 4th, I'm sorry, I attended the virtual RCMP Municipal Government Police Unit Agreements as well, and it was great information on their agreement. And what I really liked about it is they went article by article and explained what changed and what each article meant now going forward. And it was recorded, so you actually can go to their website and listen to it. Yeah, if you're interested, you should hop on there and have a listen to it because it has some good information. Just returning from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference in Calgary. And this conference set a new record with the largest number of participants in its history of 3,100 attendees. We did gather in Calgary And we had the opportunity to listen to national party leaders and, their representatives. We, spoke on resolutions, policy priorities. And it was just a really interesting level of government to be involved with. It was such a different atmosphere in there. Everybody has the same issues in every community across Canada, and we're talking about the same things. And we're trying to make things better. We're trying to prioritize how to get things done. And I don't know if you heard, but the Wednesday before the conference started, they had a major water line break in Calgary, so we were without water. They were asking us not to shower and not to flush too many times, and they were bringing us bottled water. It was really quite interesting, but it sure helped the conversation at the microphones that day when they were speaking about infrastructure and how desperately we need to upgrade it in every community, but mostly in rural BC. So that was in rural areas of Canada, so that was really good. Just a couple of the resolutions that we did actually get through. The first one was strengthening the RCMP recruitment and retention. I think we know how important that is. Number 2 was the federal support for food banks. Again, people are living with food insecurity, and we're just trying to find ways to help them out. Enhancing shelter support for women and survivors of intimate partner violence. Need more housing, need more community support for these organizations. The biggest resolution that we dealt with, it took us 45 minutes to get through, and it was the harassment of local elected government officials. And it was a really good discussion, again, happening right across Canada, just not locally, or not just locally, and it was really good to hear that discussion as well. What I wanted to talk to council tonight about, and I don't know if you read your packages, about the presentation that the Trail Health and Environment wants to do at UBCM this year, and Councillor Hanson is a part of it. I don't know if you need more information on that. I do have a resolution that I want to put forward, and this just moves us to the next step in the process. So the resolution that I would like to put forward is that council approve the City of Trail submission to the UBCM Community Excellence Award, the sustainability category for the Trail Health and Environment Program. And it's their 5-year strategic direction plan from 2022 to 2027 project. So if I could have someone make that one, Councillor Hanson, thank you, and Councillor Benson, all those in favor? Thank you, that was carried unanimously. And that is my report for today. Thank you, everyone. So we have 2 items on the consent agenda. The first one is the BCRCMP UBCM meeting follow-up from last year. And the second one is the letter of appreciation from the Cooney Boundary Regional Hospital Foundation, and the recommendation that these items on the consent agenda be received for information. Councillor Martin, is there a seconder?
Can I speak to it?
Oh, sure.
I would just like to pull the RCMP letter.
Okay.
I'd really like to just reiterate, especially after the evening we had tonight with our earlier delegation, the importance of getting our membership up to complement. We know that this is something they're working on, but I think we need to make sure we follow up back with this or reschedule another meeting at UBCM, just to reiterate that we need to be a priority.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. So the motion was made. Did someone second it to get the letter on the table? No? Okay.
Just need a second for the consent agenda.
Just, okay. Okay, so all those in favor of receiving the letter, so Councillor Hanson, Councillor Benson, thank you. I carried unanimously. Any new business tonight?
I think just a follow-up from our earlier group, I just wanna make sure that something's done to connect them with the people that can. I just don't wanna just leave it hanging, especially like the reports of, like sexual assault, so like, they need to be heard, and I understand that we're not the group that can perhaps do that, but we can maybe facilitate that somehow. I don't know what that looks like, I just want to know that we heard them.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't know what that looks like too, so. What does that look like, Mr. McClure, to follow up on that delegation?
Yeah, well, and again, sort of a mix, you know, as far as I didn't have one key person, do know that we are up to meeting with Sergeant Burgett for our RCMP kind of update, that's happening next couple weeks out. So as far as getting back to them, I don't really have an answer for you. I mean, like I said, tough situation, terrible things to hear about, but I really don't know whether it's through BC Housing that we try to reach out to the Riverside group, or if they've got sort of the did have a meeting with them and then have minutes and that sort of thing to work with them, so whether through BC Housing we could connect with them about the concerns that we have and maybe see if we can have a way to flow back what we heard today. And that would be my thought, maybe through the BC Housing group, because they do seem to, through the media group, have been connected with the Riverside residents. That's a thought.
Mayor Jones, just to speak to what Councillor Hanson has just, or Benson has just raised. Let's just say the shelter wasn't there, wouldn't those same issues be happening? And what I'm having a hard time is connecting the dots. They're blaming it right now, and I understand the frustration. And I listened to these folks tonight and was impacted by it for sure, like we all were. But what can we do to add security? What can we do to add reassurances that there's patrols down there, that there's security down there to keep this from happening? BC Housing, my understanding, we've lobbied, I know I spoke to it personally, advocating for to maintain this good neighbor status. So that means the shelter is in operation and they have outreach. I think they've assured us that they would have outreach then in the neighborhood. Well, the shelter isn't operating. So the shelter is being blamed for something that probably is not the piece that really should be blamed. The blame here is we just have a severely large unhoused population, homeless population, and many of them now have migrated down there because it's close to town. And these folks, I don't have an answer for it either, but we need to give them some kind of reassurance that maybe we can add some form of security down there. That's what I'm getting at. And I know it comes at an expense, but I think that's time that we really took ownership of that and just said, look, we need to do something.
Well, and again, we've heard from the motion from Councillor Hanson. Secondly, in my opinion, as much as we want to, it is an RCMP matter. Things that I heard about today, that is not bylaw, that is not cellular security, that is RCMP. And okay, so that would be again, we will be meeting in a short, and I think that we will be able to share on, and I'm sure that it will be a very frustrated sergeant who's going to say, I hear you.
Thank you.
And I've been kicked out of the meeting just for that. I don't know who did that.
I became the host all of a sudden.
You're the host?
Oh, yes, that's the folks, mine is the second time it's gone down.
Yeah, me too.
Personally.
Sorry, just letting you know, in case
Okay.
no one's seeing me to hear a voice.
So I will be getting hold of BC Housing and encouraging them to have a look at this council meeting tonight so that they can actually hear and see what the community members have to say. I don't think we leave this meeting without realizing that their voices need to be heard. And Yeah, and following up with the RCMP for sure. Oh, Council Martin.
An interesting comment, I think that you just said that if BC Housing could provide those folks down on Riverside with some information, what's gonna happen after the shelter's open, like Councilor Cashel said, it's not even open yet. It is an RCMP situation right now. How are things gonna change, and if they can provide some comfort to the folks on Riverside,
Yeah.
that some of this stuff isn't gonna be happening, is it all gonna be looked after? I don't think so. But some of it will be, and if they can provide that information, that would be really helpful, I think.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I promise I'll get back to council, once I hear from BC Housing. And you know what, we'll just, have to continue being their voice for sure.
And I think making sure that, you know, even if it's sending this link to our video to Minister Whiteside's deputies, so they understand what we're dealing with here with lack of mental health supports and the importance of that would be something that we should consider looking at. Because really, I mean, we are one community, but we're one community that really is the hub of many communities. And we're having to deal with a lot, and our neighbors aren't necessarily dealing with as much as we are. So I think really just getting that support and that help from our neighbors, reiterating what we need to deal with and supporting us is really important.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on that before we move to our department reports? And we have one item there, and it is bylaw enforcement department report. And the recommendation is that this report be received for information. Councillor Cashel, Councillor Benson, thank you. All those in favor? Okay, next item on the agenda is adjournment. Councillor Cashel and Councillor Benson. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Still close. I'm gonna end it for all.
Please, I thought I had to do it here.